Plus the ticket, plus your insurance goes up, plus there's all these things.
And then the third time up, well, you never got to Canyon Lake because you're spending time in jail.
That's terrible. For the record, I've never had a ticket, ever. Just make
I
that
wasn't
known.
talking about you.
You totally are. Because you drive very slow and I like to get there
Well,
safely.
so
So
In the case of nuclear or radiological,
turn off the TV, turn off the news.
You are now dialed in to the Noise Reduction Podcast.
Often imitated,
never duplicate.
never duplicate.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Luke 14:28. For which of you desiring to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it?
Hello, I'm Nelson Negron, President, COO, and Financial Advisor at Provident Oak Financial. And I am joined here, as always, with my partner in crime, Miss Rhiannon Negron, my
We're like
wonderful,
superheroes.
wonderful, amazing, beautiful, stunning
Okay, we don't have enough time for that in this. We're on a time limit.
wife. All right, fine.
More importantly, we're coming to you from Clear Lake Media, which is very exciting. 'Cause
Yes,
they have a new
we are-
location, and that's where we're recording.
We are in their new studio, so you can see that our surroundings are, well, maybe my
They're very
surroundings.
cool. I don't know how much
is a
you
little
see, but
different,
there's a
but-
lot of really cool things around us. So I guess if it's a podcast, they're not seeing anything unless they're watching it. Oops.
So why don't you tell them who you are other than your name?
So I am the CEO of Provident Oak Financial, as I just realized that we can't see on a podcast. It's great.
Huh? They're going to see us. That's why there's cameras.
Yeah, if they watch it. But anyway, so today we're going to be discussing the foundation of a financial plan.
Yeah. So,
And we're going to try to get it all done in under 30 minutes so that we don't
That
go
way you-
longer than your drive to work.
right. Exactly. We want this to be a nice little lesson that you get on your way to work. And hopefully it'll be informative and it doesn't put you to sleep and
Yeah.
cause you to veer
If
into
it's quick enough, we won't
oncoming
bore.
traffic. And we don't want that.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, so the point of this is that recently we've had conversations of where do I start, right? So even just yesterday, I had a conversation with someone who had contacted us, and he said that I don't know how to manage money. My wife and I, we make good money, and we feel like we're broke. We feel like we don't have anything. And my parents really never taught me anything about money. And in that conversation, he said that his wife, his mother-in-law, I should say, retired early. And they asked her, well, how did you do that? And she said, well, I hired a financial advisor.
Mhm.
And so she
So remember that. Early retirement, financial advisor goes together, I'm just saying.
Right. And so she retired with, multiple millions. And so they thought, hey, maybe we should contact a financial advisor. And so they contacted us, and we kind of hear that a lot. Right. And most people think, oh, well, I can't invest, because I don't have enough money, or why do I need a financial advisor if, I don't have hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars to do anything with.
Literally, if you don't have millions, like I've heard that multiple times. I don't have millions of dollars for a financial advisor. I'm like,
Right. Well, and it's interesting. I was actually looking it up the other day, just curious to see what percentage of what's considered to be wealthy work with a financial advisor. And it said 70% of wealthy people work with financial advisors. And especially nowadays, you kind of hear, oh, you can do it yourself. And you get the social media advisor, right? I work at Taco Bell, but you need to buy real estate, or, those kind of things that you get on
I
social
wish that was
media.
a joke.
Right.
It's not.
So
It's like
if 70% of wealthy people work with a financial advisor and you're striving to be wealthy, wouldn't you want to act like a wealthy person and work with someone who is working with the wealthy, right? So that was why we wanted to really just get down to the fundamentals of things and talk about where you start. when it comes to a financial plan. How do you build it? And so, yeah, we'll be discussing those foundations of a financial plan.
Yeah, so let's go over what is a financial plan because people confuse that with investing, with budgeting, with all sorts of things. So can you break it down?
Yeah, it's actually pretty simple. A financial plan is a roadmap. Okay. So it's something that you're going to put down on paper and say, or
In an app.
okay, digital paper.
We're
Is that?
like Google, we're more like Google Maps. Let's not be
Okay.
like MapQuest.
Right, well, actually, okay, MapQuest, yeah. So Google Maps, okay, right? So we're here in League City, all right, and we're going to take a trip to Dallas. Okay, yeah, I know, not the most enjoyable.
Let's pick somewhere else. Let's go to Canyon Lake, but go on.
Canyon Lake, okay, Canyon Lake, all right. So it's going to take us 3.5 hours to get there, according to Google Maps, right?
Depends who's driving.
According to Google Maps. Going the speed limit, it'll have us there in about 3.5 hours, right? Okay. So with that being said, that's just a guide. It's going to guide you as to when to take a left turn, when to take a right turn, which lane to be in order to take an exit, or to stay on to stay on the route, all of those things. It's going to guide you.
Or it guides you back when you stop at Buc-ee's multiple times.
Right. So it does not account for stopping at Buc-ee's, stopping at, the lavender fields in Luling, or stopping at the rest stop every time we see one because somebody has to use the restroom. Just saying. I mean, I'm just hypothetically, right?
I mean, I guess it's pretty accurate because all those times you spend money that you weren't planning for when you make those stops, those little veers off of your path.
Right. And then what also does it do? It also shows you how to get back on track.
And as somebody with zero sense of direction, I appreciate that more than you know.
So, and a GPS also, when it gives you that information, it's not really accounting for, it may account for traffic at that particular point in time, but 2.5 hours into your trip, maybe there's a severe car accident.
I hope not.
So now what, right?
Right.
So that's really what a financial plan is. It's a roadmap to get you from where you are today to where you want to be in your short-term goals. So 5, 10 years, 15, 20, or I'm sorry, 5 or 10 years, midterm 15 to 20, long-term 20 plus, right? And it's something you can refer back to so you can stay on track.
So whenever we sit down with clients and we're going over it, they never really understand the extent of what's in a financial plan. Sometimes they think it's something that takes us, 20 minutes to throw together, or they just don't have an idea of everything that actually goes into a financial plan. Can you kind of summarize that to try to help give an idea?
Yeah. So what I see most often when people talk about a financial plan, or they think about doing something when it comes to their financial well-being, is they jump right to the end and they look at product. What product do I need to have? Do I need to own? So as an example, maybe the product they're thinking of is an investment. So what stock, what what ticker symbol do I need to buy? Okay, great. Now my financial plan's in place. No, you're jumping to the end, where we need to start at the beginning. And the beginning is why. Why are you putting together a financial plan? So what is important to you, and what does this mean to you in order to put this plan together? And the why is that foundational piece that will keep you going back to that plan.
And it's unique to everybody. Everybody's why is different.
Right. So while there may be some similarities between situations and maybe some commonalities between situations, every family dynamic is different. Everybody's feelings towards things are slightly different, or completely different. And so you really need to understand why you're doing this in the first place. what's important to you. Because if you understand what's important to you, and that's the focal point of the financial plan, then you're more likely to say, hey, my perspective needs to be, and my focus needs to be on what's important and not spending $15,000 a year on coffee. Yeah.
True. How come I don't get that kind of coffee budget? But no, I agree because, if you have a long-term goal and something to focus on, then the little things just don't seem as important. Like earlier we were talking, maybe we don't need to stop at Buc-ee's because, and you're going to go in there and you're going to spend way too much money because it's like a little mall and I love that place.
Well, you have to get the barbecue sandwich.
Yes.
You have to get the
chips.
sausage on the stick.
Don't forget their chips and can scratch.
And then the scratch made chips, those are amazing.
And their cinnamon bears.
And the apple pie.
And the cinnamon bears.
Yeah. And then you got to go hit up the bakery with those big old honking cinnamon rolls.
And don't forget the iced coffee bar.
And they got the coffee bar.
Yeah. It's a whole experience, which we love Buc-ee's, but it has to be part of our plan.
Well, there's a budget, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That bad word.
Uh-oh.
I was going to say, you skipped ahead to the
I
next
did
part
skip
of the financial
ahead.
plan.
I did skip ahead.
Nobody wants to talk about.
But yeah, so that's really what's, what we're talking about is having the right perspective, understanding why you're doing what you're doing. So then that way, when things get crazy,
And they will. That's
whether it's an unexpected event, when it comes to expenses, oops, there's a baby on the way, or
Oops.
or
It could be just like a flat tire.
right.
Tires are super expensive.
car breaks
down.
And then maybe if investments are a part of your financial plan and the market happens to not be doing pretty, or doing all that well, right?
Which we know depends on the news of the day. So
Right. So, a financial plan accounts for those things. And so when you're thinking, hey, maybe I need to do something different, you go back and you say, well, why am I doing this in the first place? What has changed about the why? And if nothing has changed about the why and your plan has accounted for these events, why are we changing things?
right. It helps hold you accountable
Right.
to not $15,000 worth of coffee, apparently. So
Well,
speaking of which, let's might as well go into the
you're
budget.
the one who told me the story that
Budget.
you saw about the lady who went to a
She does.
coffee
She treats
shop that we're
herself
not
daily.
that we're not going to mention,
Yeah.
that starts with an S and
We
rhymes
don't name
rhymes
it.
with yucks.
Yes, we don't drink their sugar water. But yes, no, this is a real thing, and it is
Yes.
a trend, and especially amongst homemakers or women in general, it's a new trend that they feel that they should treat themselves daily, and that's their daily thing that they do for themselves regardless. Now, that can be anywhere. I believe hers was like $12 to $15 a day. I don't know. It was a lot. I thought my Nespresso was a problem, but that's a lot. That makes Nespresso seem cheap.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, we're not, okay. So I'm not saying that, no, you cannot treat yourself.
It just has to be
right?
part of the plan.
It's, again, why do you have a plan?
Mm-hmm.
And is this part of the plan that you're going to treat yourself in this way?
And that may have been okay with their budget. We have no idea. I have no idea what her financial situation was. And that could have been part of their plan. Or it could have just been chaos and she just did whatever. And there's no getting to that why at the end.
Yeah. And if you're sacrificing your why for that coffee,
I can see that.
Is it
It's not
worth
that
it,
important.
right?
Correct.
And now, or maybe you need to adjust your goals, right?
Yeah.
And maybe the goals that you have are too lofty, too
Mhm.
ambitious, that you need to adjust those so they fit. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. And sometimes, there's a balance there. We always tell people you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to cut everything out. We just have to plan accordingly. It's a balance between enjoying life and meeting your goals.
The only thing I could think, though, was that at $15,000 a year, she could have bought multiple cars each,
I'd rather have the coffee.
I can buy a car this year. I can buy a car that year. I can buy a car. So you can have multiples. But
My
anyway,
brain went to charity. I know. It's a shock.
or charity.
That was my thing.
yeah.
Like, how many people could you help, even if you just went every other day? But I think differently. So
Whatever's
my
important.
goals are different.
Your goals are different. Yes, they are. All right.
So
So the next part in what goes into a financial plan is a budget. Yes, I know. I said it, budget, right? So a budget basically tells you whether or not you can afford the plan. Okay.
can
So
you
we,
afford the coffee every day?
right, we can put together all of these ideas and goals and dreams and what's important, but if you can't afford to save to put towards those goals, we need to know that.
Or if you could, but you're spending it faster than we're making it because you're not sticking to a budget, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and just like the verse that you read to start, we have to count the cost before building the building. We don't want to put together a plan and work through it and realize, oh, actually this plan doesn't work because I can't afford to do it.
Unless you buy a lemon house and then it's just all tables.
We don't have time to go through
There's
that
not enough
story.
minutes for that.
Yeah.
But no, so budget is very important. And I mean, just small changes in your spending can have huge long-term effects. Just little things. Like I said, even if you go every other day without coffee, or maybe just once a week, yes, treat yourself, but it doesn't have to be every day.
Well, and a lot of times a budget is just a wake-up call. It's oh, I didn't know I was spending this much money on coffee, or I didn't know we were spending this much money going out to eat 4 times a week.
Mhm.
And it's a way to say, hey, do you really need to go out to eat 4 times a week? Maybe,
Right.
especially if I told you that you could add this much more to your whatever in your plan if you just cut it back to 2 times a week. So it's a lot of people that we work with just don't even realize or they just don't realize where they're spending their money and how much they're spending in those areas.
And then they don't realize that those small changes can literally be the difference between retiring a year later than you want to, or on time, or earlier. Just little things over the course of the years can make a huge difference.
Yeah. And so once we've done that, we've established whether or not you can afford your goals. We've established your why. We've gone through that process. We then need to, and I kind of said that a little wrong, but can you afford the plan is what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Then, and also why we're doing this. What are your goals? What is important to you and your family? What are you trying to accomplish with your money? What does financial freedom look like for you?
Mm-hmm. Some people would like to stop working altogether. Some people don't need to completely stop working. They just want to be able to do what they enjoy doing, and they don't have to focus solely on income, but they're still bringing some in. You've got people with special needs kiddos like us who are going to have planning for 2 lifetimes. You've got people that take care of their parents. It's just very individualized. So it can be different for everybody.
Right. And financial freedom, we hear that term kind of thrown out there a lot. Oh, I want to be financially free, or do you want to, have financial freedom? Well, and there was a way that I heard it quoted, and I'm going to butcher it, but it is financial freedom is the freedom to buy the things you want. So if you want less, you can afford to buy the things you want.
Gotcha.
So are you content with what you have? Maybe that's a perspective that we, need to have is being content with what we have. And now,
That could be a whole nother show.
and that's a whole, that's and that's a mindset. That's an attitude towards things.
Right.
But what, kind of taking a step back and saying, oh, I could be financially free if I'm just fine with what I got.
Mm-hmm.
And how much worry and anxiety does that take away?
Right.
So,
It has to be worth it. So we've got our plan and what goes into our financial plan, but I need to know, is financial planning the same as investment advice? And we get that a lot.
no, there's a huge difference between a financial plan and investment advice. So, a financial plan is designed for you and your family to help you reach your goals, to understand what your goals are first, to understand what's important to you first, what your needs are first, your attitude towards different areas of your financial life, understanding those things first. Um, Investment advice, again, is jumping to the end where someone is recommending certain types of investments before even knowing if those investments are even suitable for you.
Right.
You know, maybe you have certain values and beliefs about money and about where money should be used, and someone is offering advice to buy XYZ stock that contradicts those values, that goes against what you believe. Well, is that appropriate and suitable for you?
And
Where
that's
there
what happens when you jump to the end. You're not getting all the information to know what's best for you.
right. And then maybe on the risk side, maybe it's too much risk. That investment is more risk than what you need, or more risk, one, that you're comfortable with, or two, it's just more risk than you even need to take in the first place.
Right.
So what's the point of, if you're going to reach your goals, why do you need to take more risk if you're going to get to where you want to go without doing that? It's just not necessary, and you can lessen the risk of failure by understanding and having a plan that is catered and customized to your situation.
Yeah, maybe you're like me and I don't like to go with more than $20 to a casino. Like, I don't like risk. Or you could be somebody that's like, I don't care. I go to Vegas with thousands of dollars and it doesn't affect me. Everybody doesn't fit in the same box.
Right. And so it's important that when working with a financial advisor, or financial planner, most people kind of interchange those two
It's not the
titles.
same as a
It's
financial coach. That's important.
right. Financial.
That's another one that's getting
that-
kind of just thrown in the mix and it's not the same.
Right. Yeah. Financial coach is over here. Financial advisor and planner are
Correct.
over here. But when you're working with someone, it's important to know and see that they're invested in you, that they are interested in what matters to you, and they want to dig deep in that way. So then that way, when you get that financial plan from them, and that financial plan could be, 60 pages thick with tons of graphs and tons of numbers. And
some people need that. They have that engineer brain. Like, they need all the graphs and numbers. We have those people and they
Right.
love that and they eat that up.
Or a financial plan could be one page that is just a scorecard for your life, your financial life, that says you need to improve here, you need to improve there. You can actually, you've gone above and beyond here, so you can take from there and put it in other places.
Which is my kind of plan.
Yeah. Over the next 90 days,
Very
here's some,
simple.
over the
Clean.
next 90 days, these are just some activities you can,
What can you do now instead of looking 30 years out?
Right.
Sometimes that helps.
but also that plan has to address behaviors, because if you have bad financial habits, you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot over and over and over again. And just like a GPS, okay, if you're speeding
I feel targeted
and
right now. But
you
go
get
ahead.
pulled over, that 3.5 hours to Canyon Lake, the first time you get pulled over, maybe now we're talking 3 hours and 45 minutes. And then you keep speeding. Oh, now you're talking 4.5 hours.
Plus the ticket, plus your insurance goes up, plus there's all these things.
And then the third time up, well, you never got to Canyon Lake because you're spending time in jail.
That's terrible. For the record, I've never had a ticket ever. Just make
I
that
wasn't
known.
talking about
You
you.
totally are, because you drive very slow, and I like to get there
Well,
safely.
so
But so in conclusion, first year on target. When designing a financial plan, we need to start with the basics.
yes,
So we need to know what you make, understand your spending, and define your goals.
yes,
And those are the foundations of a financial plan.
that's where you start. That's where that's the easy part, right? Those are kind of the easy steps you can take. Um,
The hard part is following it and making those choices every day.
right. And those are daily decisions that you
Mhm.
want to make, that you have to make. Every decision, and it's interesting. Um, now that I'm sitting here kind of thinking through this a little bit, is that there are micro decisions that are made every day that can either increase the likelihood of being successful in your financial plan and in your financial life, or those micro decisions that you make each and every day can lessen the chance that you reach your financial goals.
Right.
So, but while that may sound stressful,
It is stressful. It's a lot of pressure.
it can be at first. But as you learn, and again, we're talking about habits, money
Right.
habits, behaviors. When those become habits, then it becomes easy. And you're not even thinking about, what is it, 21 days, and that habit is,
I don't remember the
yeah,
statistics, but I know
something
what
to
you're
that
talking about.
effect.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So as we close, it's again understanding your, what did you say it was? Yeah, it was what you
Start
said.
with the basics.
Start with the basics.
Know what you make,
Yes.
understand your spending, and define your goals.
And those are the foundations of a financial plan.
Correct.
All right. So
So that makes it sound easy. Or you just marry somebody that's the opposite of you, like I did, and they can keep that all under wraps and tell you, this is the plan you're on.
but not everyone is as lucky as you.
That's what I So in conclusion,
So
if you're trying to find us,
yes.
social media, Noise Reduction Podcast, Provident Oak Financial. We're on all the social medias, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the things. You can go to our website, providentoakfinancial.com, or providentoak.com will get you there. And there's links to all of our social medias at the bottom. That's the easiest way to find us.
Right.
So-
And if you have any questions, want to send us a topic you'd like for us to cover, info@providentoak.com.
and if you have criticisms, send them to him.
Like us, share us, subscribe to us. 5 stars? Can I say that? Can we get 5 stars? You don't know?
All I know is thank you for listening to us, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and God bless.
We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Investment advisory services offered through One Ascent Financial Services, LLC, DBA Provident Oak Financial, a registered investment advisor with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply any certain degree of skill or training. Past performance may not be a representative of future results. All investments are subject to loss. Forecasts regarding the market or economy are subject to a wide range of possible outcomes. The views represented in this podcast may prove to be inaccurate for a variety of reasons. These views are as of the date of this podcast and are subject to change based on the changes in fundamental economic or market-related data.